This is Brian with Precision Media, and thank you for tuning in to our next instructional video about the Gov'Nor. So if you've purchased this system and you're watching this video, it's likely because you have a problem with one of your neighbors and your sound system being too loud. So that's what this system is here to fix. And what it does is it puts a ceiling on the level of your sound system. So no matter how much one of your teachers either talks too loud or turns up the volume on their mic or their music, no matter how loud they try to get it, this equipment will keep your system from getting any louder than that. And the rest of the video is going to be describing how to hook it up and how to wire it and install it and set it up. So we'll get to that next. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what came with your system. So first of all is the Gov'Nor. This is what it looks like on the back. You've got your audio trigger. This goes out in the room. It does not go next to your sound system typically. It will go next between your speakers. And we've also included a couple cables pre-terminated for you so that there's no chance that you guys could screw up the wiring or reverse it and possibly short anything out. So what we have here is a power wire for this guy. It's just a speaker wire already terminated, and that plugs in right there, and that's what's going to power this. So this will go 50 feet away approximately at the other end. And then this guy is the control trigger, which plugs in like that, and it plugs into here as well. So both of these just plug into that, simple as can be. So now I'm going to kind of go through the back of this and show you what these things are. So first of all is your power input for the Gov'Nor. That's easy. The two wires we already talked about that you plug in. The control always needs to be in the on position. These are the audio in and audio out of your system. So what this device does is it goes in between the output of your mixer and the input of your amplifier, and we'll show you that in a second. Over here the limiter should always be on. Response time, this is the time it takes for it to actually cut the music down and the vocals lower. This is always turned to minimum, far left. And then we have these devices here, which actually are set in these positions, preset by us, and this is the way we pretty much like you to have them unless you need to make a couple minor adjustments. But this should get you pretty close out of the box. So those are the settings. There's really nothing to set on this for now. We'll touch later on your final adjustment when you tune it, and that will be done through here. Okay, now we're going to show you how to wire up the rest of your system, which is actually pretty simple. These are a couple extra wires that came with your Gov'Nor. First of all is your power adapter, which is very easy to hook up. Obviously, we're just going to plug that into your existing power strip inside your rack. And we'll leave that unplugged for now. Power is always the last thing you plug in once everything else is done. Next, we're going to hook up the audio. So the first thing we're going to do is actually unplug the audio feed from your amplifier. You're going to see these two wires, which are at your link out, is what's labeled right above them, and you're just going to pull those out. Okay? You're going to take those two wires and plug them in to the input on the Gov'Nor. It doesn't matter which one is which. Just plug them in. Now, we're going to take our two new wires that came with your Gov'Nor, plug them into the output, and take those and plug them into the same place you just unplugged from your amplifier. Okay? And now you've completed wiring the Gov'Nor. Now, of course, you have your other two wires which you're going to run in the wall here, which I showed you earlier in the video. And that's about it. And now we can, once everything's plugged in, we can actually plug in power. So that's what we do last. Next thing we're going to do is get your trigger placed in your room. So first of all, find your two speaker locations. And the first thing you want to do is find the spot that's between them. You don't want to be closer to one speaker or another. That's the most important thing of what you're doing here. So just go between them. In this case, we try to simulate your environment. We have one speaker sitting here, and we have one on the far end of the room over here. So kind of as a center point, we're placing our trigger right there. So we'll simulate your center point. And when you mount this thing, it's just going to take two screws in the wall that you'll just put in the wall, and this thing will just kind of hang on them, kind of like a picture. So that's how you're going to mount this to your wall or to your ceiling. Again, placement's important though. You don't want it too close to your speakers. Okay, now that you've picked a spot in your room for your loudness monitor, you've hopefully got it mounted to the wall. And then you got to plug in the two wires that we sent you with your system. So they can't go in the wrong place, so don't worry about that. Just plug them in, you're done. Now, the key to tuning this system to work right is this knob right here. Okay? It's going to come from us, set at the lowest point already that it allows, which says 79 dB right there. you guys are, since you have a problem with your store, you're probably going to be operating pretty low here. In this first couple part of the turns here, you're not going to be turning it up. That's nightclub level. So we're going to be staying pretty low with this, but this is where we're going to fine tune. So now I'm going to show you kind of how this works. I'm going to turn the music up a little bit. Obviously this is just a microphone sensing the level of the room. And I'm going to simulate it clicking off, and what you'll hear when it hits that level, that trigger, it's going to bring the volume down of the music. So I'm going to turn it up right now. So there's our volume level, and I spoke, and you can hear it click off. Volume level went back up, and now I'm going to make it trigger again. Volume level just cut down again. So as your teachers get too loud, they're going to hear their own voice and the music cut down, and they're going to know that they're hitting that threshold that's too loud and they need to keep the level down. Okay, now we're going to go over kind of what all these lights mean and what the controls in the front of the Gov'Nor are. So first of all, we have the power knob, which is straightforward. This is really just a nominal meter bar. It isn't really relative to actual volume. It's just something that your teachers can watch and keep an eye on. As I turn the music up, it's going to get louder, and it's just going to tell them that if they're getting close to the red, that they should probably start keeping an eye on it. Okay, that they should it's just a visual cue is all this meter is here. This is the actual sound pressure level in the room, so this is real. This is the level that really matters more. But the thing you're going to want to watch out for here is what's called SPL remote. So this is sound pressure level remote. This is the remote trigger. So what happens here, when you guys turn your music up too loud or your voice is too loud, I'm going to simulate that by just tapping on this thing. You'll see that knob turn, that little red light turns on. And when it does, you hear the music cut down immediately, and then it goes off after a couple seconds. Do it again. Red light comes on, music cuts down, and then the level comes back up. So that's kind of how it works. So your teacher's going to know when they do something they shouldn't. Completing this is going to take two people. One person's going to be in your studio with a flathead screwdriver, and it's going to be the person adjusting this screw slightly at the bottom of your loudness monitor. The second person is going to be in your neighbor's space, the one that has the concern about the sound. So what you're going to do is turn your sound system on and start using it like you would in a normal class. Have the music on, speak through it like you're teaching. And what you're going to do is that you're going to be adjusting the point at which the sound level starts cutting off. So you're going to be playing with that up and down, and the person in the space next to you is going to be telling you via phone call, walkie-talkie, whether or not, okay, that level's okay, or that's too loud. And between the two of you, you're going to adjust the level to get to a spot that works for you in your store. Every store is going to be different. So play with that, and you should have a system that works a lot better for you and your neighbor. And I hope this video has been very helpful. Thank you.